Danielle zipped up her boots that reached to her knees and rose from the bed to stare into the full-length mirror on the back of her door. She turned to one side, then the other, looking at the slinky black dress that hugged her curves. "Definitely need to work out more," she mumbled as she frowned at her reflection and sucked in her stomach. Her door pushed open, and Whitney, one of her flatmates, poked her dark head through the door. "Wow, Dani, you look amazing." "Sure you won't come with me?" Danielle asked for the 10th time. They had all planned to spend New Year's together with another group of friends 2 months ago. But now, Dani would end up alone with Mitchell. It wasn't that Mitchell was a bad sort, just someone who didn't get the hint that she didn't want to date him. Whitney laughed and shook her head. "Not on your life. Joe says he has something he wants to talk to me about. I'm hoping he's finally going to ask me to marry him. I've been waiting for months." Danielle smiled and hugged Whitney. She was happy for her friend, but it was just another reminder she was alone. Again. "I want you to call me as soon as he proposes. Well, after you say yes, of course," Danielle said with a laugh. "I will, I promise. Listen, I came to ask if I could borrow your black heels, the new ones you bought this week." Danielle hurried to her closet and opened the Kate Spade box. "Yes, you need to look your best. You know Claire's pearls would look great with your dress." "I've already asked to borrow them," Whitney said as she took the shoes. "I have the most wonderful friends in the world." Danielle grinned as she leaned her hand on the doorknob. "I'm just thankful we all wear about the same size. It saved me a lot of money over the years." As Whitney walked to her room, Danielle closed the door and her smile faded. So much for a rowdy group of friends to party with. Not that Danielle was a party girl. She was the opposite, actually. It had been all of them who had talked her into going out on New Year's. And wouldn't you know, everyone else would have something planned with their boyfriends. Danielle sighed and looked at the clock on her nightstand. It was just after 5 o'clock. She had enough time to run some errands before she met up with Mitchell and they headed to Blink's. Blink was the newest, hippest nightclub in Inverness, and they were putting on one hell of a party tonight. After one more look in the mirror, Danielle reached for the bangle bracelets on the bureau and left her room. She liked the clink of the silver bracelets as she slid her arms into her coat. "I'm leaving," Danielle called out. "Be careful," Whitney shouted through her door. "A snowstorm has been forecast for tonight." Danielle inwardly groaned while wrapping her scarf around her neck before she tugged on her gloves. Just what I need. She grabbed her purse and keys and left the flat. A blast of cold wind hit her as she pulled the door closed and hurried down the stairs to her car waiting at the curb. The car, a mid-1970s Mini, had been her Aunt Josie's. When Josie had gotten too sick to drive it, she'd given it to Danielle. Danielle loved the car, even if it had gotten more unreliable than not. She unlocked her door and slid into the driver's seat. As usual, the car didn't start on the first try. "Come on," Danielle whispered as she turned the key once more. There was a flare of life, and then nothing. Danielle rubbed the car's dashboard slowly. "I know you can do this," she told the car. "Don't let me down tonight." On the 3rd try, the Mini roared to life. Danielle sat back with a smile on her face and fastened her seatbelt. She pushed in the clutch and put the car in first before pulling out into the road. She drove slowly through the icy, snow-covered streets as the sun sank below the horizon. Danielle would have preferred to get her errands done earlier, but she'd had to stay later at her job than usual. Wouldn't you know, the boss from hell had wanted to clear her desk so she could take the next week off? Danielle was supposed to have left the office at noon, but Isabella had other ideas. Danielle mentally checked off the places in her mind as she ran errand after errand. Finally, she pulled up to the cemetery and turned off the car. She reached for the single pink rose on the passenger seat and got out of the car. The snow that had fallen overnight was deep as Danielle meandered her way to the back of the cemetery and the Buchanan plot. Though her parents were buried in America, there was a plaque with their names and the date they had been taken from her. Danielle wiped the snow from the plaque. She stared at their names and wondered how different her life would have been had they not gone out that fateful night. It was a thought that haunted Danielle every year. Though the images of her parents had begun to fade in her mind, the memories she had of them would never leave her. After a moment, she moved to her left and wiped the ice and snow from the large stone cross.